Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Om Akhandananda Sambodha Bandanat Yasya Jayate Govindam Tamaham Vande Chidananda Tanum Gurum. So yesterday we were seeing Yavat Tarkena Nirasitopi Drushya Prapanchaha Aproksha Bodhat Naviliyate Tavad Amushya Bhikshoho Dhyanadi Samyak Karaniyam Eva. Until for this sadhu, this seeker, the drishya prapancha, the creation which you see, the perceived world, is not completely merged in the self. Till then, the seeker should perform. And how do you merge it? Aproksha bodhat naviliyate. Until you don't merge it through the aproksha bodha, through the immediate knowledge. Until you don't merge the world you perceive in the self, a seeker should perform the dhyana. What is dhyana? Dhyana, cittavṛtteravasthitiḥ. Having one thought function in the mind is what is called as dhyana by the yogis. And we said dhyana, general definition for dhyana is vijatiya vritti tyage sati sajatiya vritti pravāha. When you have negated, refuted, given up the thought function which is contradictory, and when you are going to have a flow of thought function which is of similar type, that is what is called as dhyana. Now, specifically, what is that vijatiya vritti? So we said vijatiya shariradi vritti tyaga purvakam sajatiya atmavritti pravāha is dhyana. Meaning giving up the contradictory thought functions about body, sense, organ complex, seeing the non-self as self, and holding on to the knowledge, holding on to the idea that this self is the truth, holding on to the self, that is what is called as dhyana. So this dhyana is practiced by everyone. And when you practice the dhyana, you attain samādhiḥ. When you use the word samādhiḥ, like some words which should not be said in some places, like that. When you say samādhiḥ, then some people's ears twitch and their eye becomes brighter. Samādhiḥ is a very glorified, stupid word. Remember that. Samādhiḥ is a glorified, stupid word. Why do I say it? Because if you are going to stay put in this thought function, in a single thought function for a period, 3 seconds, that is good enough. You are in samadhi. You are in samadhi. You have achieved a samadhi. So, is the samadhi important? Really? What is the point? Because whether, no, continuous flow. What is continuous flow? That is another stupidity. Do you know? See, when I have the continuous flow of pot. So, pot. Now I had so many pots. Now, all these in 4 seconds, whatever I chanted, all these, the series of thought functions, when you ask, they are not accepted to be multiple thought functions. They are accepted to be one thought, a thought of pot. Until another thought of cloth, etc. comes and negates it, it is one thought function. So, whether I am going to say pot, or Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, one mantra, I have chanted it for 3 seconds. One mantra, one time, single time, over. I am in samadhi. If I'm going to focus, and definitely we will be at least able to focus for one mantra. The second mantra, we don't know. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, did I switch off the gas? Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, I have to fill the petrol in the tank. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, did I switch off the light? Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, I have to cook this food. Om Namah Shivaya. Everything comes. So at least Om Namah Shivaya, that 3 seconds, you are able to hold on to that Om Namah Shivaya mantra, right? That is Samadhi. So don't be fooled by this glorified word called Samadhi. It's just another word, that's all. We have nothing to do with it. Now, since I spoke about Samadhi, since he is going to speak about Samadhi, I have to speak about Samadhi. There is no other way. If you speak about Dhyana, then the next logical step is to speak about Samadhi. So he is going to explain to you two different kinds of Samadhi. Samadhi called savikalpa and Samadhi called nirvikalpa. Savikalpa Samadhi and nirvikalpa Samadhi. Savikalpa means vikalpena saha vartate iti savikalpakaḥ. Nirvikalpaka means vikalpa vina vartate iti nirvikalpa. Vikalpa means choice, attributes. Okay. Duality, choice, attributes. So when the vritti is with thought, different varieties, different possibilities, different attributes, then it is called as a savikalpa. The vritti is without any attributes, then it is called as nirvikalpa. Simply put, everywhere we have the three states of knower, knowing and known. Knower, knowing and known. Jñāta, jñāna, jñeya. This tripuṭī exists everywhere. Seer, seen, perceiver, perceived. Everywhere, everything. Okay? Experiencer, experienced, experience. Everywhere there is this tripuṭī, Trinity. So, until there is Trinity, that is called as savikalpa. When there is no Trinity, then that is called as nirvikalpa. So, we understand just by hearing that savikalpa is not the one which I need to practice. Nirvikalpa is the one I need to be practicing. Only after savikalpa, you will be able to enter nirvikalpa. That's one thing. So, you have to practice savikalpa, you have to practice nirvikalpa. There is no choice here. Again, since I said savikalpa has the trinities, the three states, and nirvikalpa does not have these three states, the trinity. Therefore, nirvikalpa is absolute state. No, that is not also true. Because people think when they go to Raman Maharshi, etc., people they'll ask, what is the samadhi you are in? Is it savikalpa or is it nirvikalpa? And that answer, people will come and go, oh, he's beautifully answered. What did he answer? Oh, when I open my eyes, it is savikalpa. When I close my eyes, it is nirvikalpa. What is that? It is just to give you an answer, he said. That's all. If at all that is an answer he gave, that is the answer. It is only for the sake of answering. Closing eyes and waking up, opening up the eyes does not make it savikalpa, nirvikalpa for a jñāni, because the Trinity exists. Trinity exists means there is thought. There is thought means there is mind. There is mind means there is ignorance. Where does the ignorance exist for the jñāni? Okay, so forget about all this. Simply put, nirvikalpa is also a state in the process, not the end. Now, speaking about savikalpa, nirvikalpa, we have to understand which comes first, savikalpa or nirvikalpa. Of course, with attributes is the first and without attributes is the second, right? Since I asked this question, there is a catch in it. That's why I asked this question, right? I'll say first we'll attain the nirvikalpa, then we'll come to savikalpa. What will be your answer? What? I said true. The logicians, that is our experience also. When you see somebody at far off, is that someone coming? Yeah, someone is coming. Who is that? I don't know, someone. Aha, that is our Govinda. Someone. Raghava, Keshava, someone. Somebody, some name. He has mustache, he has that color shirt, and he has this color pant, he has this color or dhoti, he has this shoes or this chappal. We know the specificities. When you know the specifics of a person, then it is called as a savikalpa. When you don't know any specifics, then it is called as nirvikalpaka. Now, the first knowledge which takes place about anything is idam kinchit, ayam kinchit, is something. That is nirvikalpa. Right? Then we come to savikalpa. That is the problem. From the nirvikalpa, we enter to savikalpa in the world. But here in the Vedanta, we say from savikalpa, go to nirvikalpa in reverse order. So first, we have a specifics. We have to give up the specifics. The attributes, give up the attributes. That is what is savikalpa and nirvikalpa is about. Okay. Now, coming to this. savikalpo nirvikalpa iti dvedhā nigadyate savikalpasya lakṣaṇaṃ vacmi tacchṛṇu. The Guru is again starting another topic. So he is trying to attract the attention of the disciple. He says, savikalpaḥ nirvikalpaḥ iti dvedhā nigadyate samādhiḥ. savikalpasya lakṣaṇaṃ vacmi tacchṛṇu. Samadhi, savikalpa nirvikalpa iti dvedhā nigadyate is said to be of two types. Nigadyate is said to be of two types. Savikalpa and nirvikalpa. Okay. Savikalpasya lakṣaṇaṃ vacmi tacchṛṇu. Tacchṛṇu, listen carefully. I am going to first explain the definition for savikalpa samadhi. Okay, what is savikalpa samadhi? jñātrādyavilayenaiva jñeye brahmaṇi kevale tadākārākāritayā cittavṛtteravasthitiḥ sadbhiḥ sa eva vijñeyaḥ samādhiḥ savikalpakaḥ. jñātrādyavilayenaiva jñeye brahmaṇi kevale tadākārākāritayā cittavṛtteravasthitiḥ avasthitihi sadbhihi sa eva vijñeyaḥ samādhiḥ savikalpakaḥ. Okay. jñātrādyavilayenaiva, without merging, without removing, without destroying, without merging, avilayana, okay. So without removing the jñāta, etc., the knower, etc., without merging means without removing the knower, etc., trinity. Okay. Jñeye brahmaṇi, in the object. What is the object for knowledge? Brahman. The object of knowledge here is a Brahman. In that Brahman, which is non-dual kevale, in that alone, tadākārākāritayā cittavṛtteḥ, the cittavṛtti, the mind, the thought function takes the form of that Brahman. Tadākārākāritayā, that akara means that form. Ākāritayā, it takes. The mind transforms itself into the form of self. Wait. Can it really take the form of self? We saw when we spoke about vritti, we say there is vritti vyapti, there is phala vyapti. Phala vyapti means the mind transforms itself into the object. When you are objectifying objects, when you are trying to gain the knowledge of objects, the mind transforms into objects. There you have to apply the phala vyapti. In the non-objects, when the mind cannot transform into that object, then there is only vritti vyapti possible. With reference to the worldly object, there is phala vyapti. With reference to the self, there is only vritti vyapti. We made it very clear. We know this now very clearly. Now, what does he say? The mind transforms itself into the form of the nature of self. How can the mind transform itself into the form of nature of self? Aham Brahma, Brahma Aham, I am the self, self I am. This akhanda vritti which we saw, this akhanda vritti which we saw, that is the vritti we are talking about. Okay? Now, with this thought function, avasthitihi, being established in that thought function, remember that the thought function taking the form of the self. Okay? Sa eva savikalpa samadhi sadbhiḥ vijñeyaḥ. That is what is called as savikalpa samadhi. People who, sadbhiḥ means people who are sadhus, who travel the path of sat, the existence, the knowledge, the self. They should have to understand. Okay. Now, what is the example? I don't understand the savikalpa samadhi. Okay, I'll give you an example. He says, mṛda evāvabhāne'pi mṛṇmayadvipabhānavat sanmātravastubhāne'pi tripuṭī bhāti sanmayī samādhiḥ evāyaṃ savikalpa itīryate mṛda evāvabhāne'pi mṛṇmayadvipabhānavat sanmātravastubhāne'pi tripuṭī bhāti sanmayī samādhiḥ evāyaṃ savikalpa itīryate mṛda evāvabhāne'pi. Mṛd, clay. Only the clay is perceived. Though only the clay is perceived, mṛṇmayadvipabhānavat, you are perceiving the elephant which is made of clay. Mṛṇmaya. Dvipa, dvipibati iti dvipa, means that which drinks through two ways. One is through the trunk and the other is through the mouth. Dvipa is the name of elephant. Gaja, Dvipa, these are all names for elephant, synonyms. Okay, no, Dvipa. So, though the elephant is made of clay, you don't see it as elephant. Normally, in the state of ignorance, you see it as elephant, not as clay. Now, because you are little knowledgeable, you have gained little knowledge. Now, you are in the process of samadhi, savikalpa samadhi. You can perceive the things with existence. Is it not? We know pot associated consciousness, cloth associated consciousness. Everything you see here, ghata, sun, pata, sun, pot exists, cloth exists. Everything which has existence has self. So when you say exist, is, or, then you understand that there is self in it. Right? That is why he says, sanmātravastubhāne'pi. Though you see though only the self exists, still, sanmayī tripuṭī bhāti. The Trinity is seen in association with Sat. To have existence in Sat. Pot exists, cloth exists, etc. Ataeva ayam savikalpa samādhiḥ. That is why it is called a savikalpa samadhi. When you see everything, whatever you see as a existence, the self, then that is what is called a savikalpa samadhi. The savikalpa samadhi is a very important samadhi for people to understand that everything is self. You see, whatever you see is self. Then there is no greed, there is no jealousy and all that. Those bad qualities are negated. When you see everything to be self, what is there to be jealous about, greed about, angry about, right? So that is important thing. Now, you understand the example, right? I think, okay, let us make it clear. In India, when you go to Kashi or when you go to Rishikesh, Haridwar and all, people from south, they go from here, they go to north, to these places. They bring back a pot, brass pot, filled with Ganges water. It's sealed tight. They weld it. Nowadays, they have this small welding machine. They weld it. They fill water, 2 minutes, they weld it. Now, they bring the pot, small pots, small pots. They buy a lot of small pots and they distribute it to people. They will take this pot. Oh, I got it from Kashi. Okay. They will place it in the altar. Now, when there is good or bad things, they take that water and sprinkle that water or give that water, etc. During Deepavali, there is this question. A Brahmin, normally this is with reference to Brahmins. Brahmins will ask other Brahmins, have you taken Ganga bath? Ganga Snana. The Deepavali bath is referred to as Ganga Snana. Though they would have not done Ganga bath, they would have taken bath in their tap water or well water. They'll say, Ganga Snana. We have finished the Ganga Snana. Is your Ganga Snana over? That is the question. Not happy Diwali. That's not the first question. Now, Ganga Snana. In some houses, they take this pot, they put a small hole, 1 drop or 2 drop in the bucket of water and then take bath. No, Ganga Snana. Okay. Let Ganga Snana be aside. Now we have this pot which is sealed. Now, with Ganga water inside. Now, if I'm going to place this pot inside the ocean for a day or two and remove it, what will happen? The whole ocean turns into Ganges water, or the water in the pot becomes a salty. Does it happen? No. Why? Because the seal packed pot does not allow the ocean water to seep in and the Ganges water to seep out. So there is no possibility. How many days you keep this this seal packed pot inside the ocean, it will still remain Ganges water. No change. Understand? This is what is called as savikalpa samadhi. The seal packed pot inside the ocean, Ganges water inside the ocean. Now, remove the seal. This is nirvikalpa samadhi we are talking about. Right? Remove the seal. Now, if I am going to place it in the ocean, what happens? In few minutes, the water turns salty. The Ganges water, the ocean water also turns Ganges water. That's why, since all the water enters samudra, ocean, taking ocean bath, sea bath is accepted to be very auspicious. Okay. Now, this ocean water changed into the Ganges water transformed into, now it's a salty water, it's ocean water. So what? Nothing, because there is still this embodiment, limiting adjunct, limiting the. So when you take it out, you still have the pot. The pot is not removed. Here also, in the savikalpa samadhi, the seal packed water is savikalpa samadhi. The pot is there and it is seal packed. There is no change in the attitude. But in nirvikalpa samadhi, the seal pack is removed. The seal is removed. Therefore, what happens? There is change in attitude. There's change in attitude. But still, how many days you stay, whatever days you stay, number of days you stay in that samadhi, when you come out, you are still in samsara, because the tripuṭī, the Trinity, is not eradicated, removed. So, he says, jñātrādibhāvamutsṛjya jñeyamātrasthitirdṛḍhā manaso nirvikalpasyat samādhiḥ yoga sanyitah. This is a very important shloka which we have to understand carefully. Bhagavan Bhāshyakara gives a beautiful hint, and people don't get this hint. I'll explain what it is. jñātrādibhāvamutsṛjya jñeyamātrasthitirdṛḍhā manasah nirvikalpasyat samādhiḥ yoga sanyitah. jñātrādibhāvamutsṛjya, resolving, giving up, the throwing away the jñātrādibhāvam, the state of a Trinity, knower, etc. Giving up, renouncing, throwing away the state of the Trinity. Manasah dridha jñeye avasthitiḥ, jñeyamātrasthitiḥ. Mind is very well placed is in the knower alone. Jñeyamātrasthitiḥ. Mind is very well placed in the knower alone. Okay. You have given up the Trinity. There is no knower, knowing, known. There is only knower. The mind is placed in the knower. Okay, the mind exists. Yoga sanyitah nirvikalpa samadhiḥ. This is what is called as yoga sanyita nirvikalpa samadhi. Yoga sanyita means that which is called as yoga. This is called as nirvikalpa samadhi, which is also called as yoga. That is the key hint. People don't understand this. For that, we have to understand what yoga is. Yoga is not union. Normally, people understand yoga to be union because there are two root words: yujir, yoge, yujir, samadho. People understand yoga to be union. When you understand yoga to be union, any translation for yoga, if it translates yoga as union, just throw away that book. That is not proper yoga book. Yoga refers to samadhi, yujir samadho, from the root word yujir samadho. Yoga refers to samadhi. Samadhi means, what is samadhi? Cittavṛtti nirodha. First sutra. Yogas cittavṛtti nirodha. Yoga means samadhi. Samadhi means cittavṛtti nirodha. Control, cessation of thought function. Control or cessation of thought function. Meaning you are not removing, destroying the mind, but you are keeping away the thoughts from the mind. You are driving away the thoughts from the mind. You are keeping the mind thoughtless. Thoughtless, keeping the mind thoughtless is not what we are talking about. Having mindlessness is what we are talking about. Okay. That is what is called as yoga. Yoga hai cittavṛtti nirodha. Okay. Now, in the last sutra, I said the first sutra. The last sutra, he says, पुरुषार्थशून्यानां गुणानां प्रतिप्रसवः कैवल्यं स्वरूपप्रतिष्ठा वा चितिशक्तिरिति. Chitishakti, Swarupa Pradishtha is what is Kaivalyam. What is Moksha? Chitishakti, the mind, being established in the Swarupa, being established in the self, is what is called as Samadhi, the ultimate state of yoga. Though in yoga, savikalpa, nirvikalpa, savikalpa, nirvikalpa, different kinds of samadhis are explained, dharmega samadhi and all are explained. Finally, he says Chitishakti becomes, the mind becomes of this nature of a self, transforms into itself into self. Meaning the mind is not destroyed, mind still remains unresolved. So, whatever period you stay in that yoga, when you come out, you are still in samadhi, you are still in samsara, not in samadhi. You come out of that, you are in samsara, back to samsara. So, we have to understand, yoga samadhi is nirvikalpa samadhi. Vedanta samadhi is beyond that. Because there is existence of mind and there is absence of mind. There is existence of mind in yoga samadhi, there is absence of mind in Vedanta samadhi. This is the difference. Now, what is nirvikalpa samadhi? So he says, Jale, example, Jale nikshiptalavanam, jala matrataya sitam, pṛthaṃ bhāti kintu, ambha ekam evāvabhāsate, yatha tathaiva savṛtti, brahmaṇatrataya sita, pṛthaṃ bhāti brahmayva, advitiyam avabhāsate, jñātrādyavilayenaiva, mato'yaṃ nirvikalpakaḥ. Before that, I have to say, in the yoga samadhi, there is thought function, there is in mind exists. In Vedanta samadhi, the mind does not exist. That we said. In yoga samadhi, the mind transforms itself into the self. Mind is of the form of self. In Vedanta samadhi, there is jiva brahma aikya. Aikya bodha is not there. The knowledge of identity between individual self and absolute self, jiva and brahman, is not there in yoga samadhi, but it is there in the Vedanta samadhi. That is the important difference. Okay. Now, jale nikshipta lavanam jalamatrataya sitam, pṛthaṃ bhāti kintu ambha ekam eva avabhāsate, yatha tathaiva savṛtti brahmamatrataya sthita, pṛthaṃ bhāti brahmayadvipabhānavat avāsate, jñātrādikalapanābhāvat mato'yaṃ nirvikalpa. Yatha jale nikshipta lavanam. When you place the salt, when a lump of salt, when you throw it in water, nikshata, when you drop it in water, what happens? The salt disappears in water. So, jalamatrataya sitam pṛthaṃ bhāti, it remains as water. It is not perceived to be different from water. Though, when you taste it, it will be salty. The water will be salty. Salt, water, there is attributes. How do you say there is no attributes? Though there is attributes, when you see, while seeing, there is no attribute. Only when you taste, there is attribute. Right? So, that is nirvikalpa. Kintu amba ekam eva avabhāsate. You don't see the salt and water, but you see only the salt alone, the water alone. Right? Tathaiva. Similarly, savṛtti, that thought function, brahmamatrataya remains only as the self. Pṛthaṃ bhāti, it does not shine to be different from the self. advitiyam brahmaiva avabhāsate. Only the self shines alone. Jñātrādikalpanābhāvāt, because there is no superimposition of duality. I am nirvikalpa. This is what is called as nirvikalpa. Okay, this is what is called as nirvikalpa, attributeless samadhi. Now, what is attributeless samadhi? A state where there is no trinity. A state where there is no trinity is attributeless samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. Have we experienced a state where there is no trinity? No. Don't say no, you have. In deep sleep, you have experienced the same state with the absence of trinity. You don't see trinity. So, samadhi and sleep are one, equal, same, similar. This is what some people want to push. They want to establish. We say samadhi is not same as a sushupti. There is a huge difference. What is that? He says, vritte sadbhāvabhādhābhyāṃ ubhayo bheda ishyate samādhisuptyoho jñānam cha ajñānam suptyam tu naishyate. Vritte sadbhāvabhādhābhyāṃ ubhayoho bheda ishyate samādhisuptyoho jñānam cha ajñānam suptyam tu naishyate. Vrittehe sadbhāvabhādhābhyāṃ jñānam ajñānam cha samādhisuptyoho bhayoho bheda ishyate. Vritte of the thought function. Sadbhāvabhādhābhyāṃ. Sadbhava, existence of thought function, and badha, absence of thought function, annihilation of thought function. Samadhi suptyoho. In samadhi, there is existence of thought. There is existence of mind. There is existence of thought function. In sushupti, in deep sleep, the mind merges in the root, in the ignorance. There is no mind. In dream state, there is mind. In waking state, there is mind. In deep sleep, there is no mind, there is no vritti. Only vritti that exists there is of ignorance. Right? So, there is no mind in sushupti, in deep sleep. In samadhi, there is mind. One difference. There is no knowledge. There is ignorance in deep sleep, but there is knowledge in samadhi. This is another difference. Jnanam ajnanam cha. There is jnana, knowledge in samadhi. There is ignorance in deep sleep. Deep sleep is ignorance. That is why we say ananda kosha, anandamaya kosha. Right? So, samādhisuptyoho bheda ishyate. This is what is the difference between samadhi and sushupti. This is what is accepted to be the difference between samadhi and sushupti. Suptyam tu naishyate. Therefore, since there is this difference, suptyam tu naishyate. Definitely in the sleep, accept samadhi. Samadhi naishyate. We don't accept samadhi in sleep. We don't accept samadhi to be sleep. Okay? Let's see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.